All right, guys, we're back with the Bro Out podcast, the Broadway Out West podcast for part two. We're going to continue discussing what we talked about, what we started talking about in the first segment, which is man purses, and how what people think about, well, what we particularly think of them, and you guys can judge. And I'm sure you all have opinions. You've already had opinions about them when you've seen them in the past. So basically, here I'm Eric here in Glendale, and O'Sheen, he's on the East Coast, as you can see from his hat, the Yankees hat. He's got you can tell he's a New Yorker now, but he was raised in the LA area like me. And so if you're ever in LA, whether you live here or you're visiting, or if you've ever lived here, you know about the city of Glendale, and with a lot the people with their man purses and their fashionable or questionably fashionable attire. Um, and it's funny because it's usually worn by the what we call a man purse or whatever you want to call it. If you want to call it a satchel or a man bag or whatever, or a crossbody bag or a fanny pack. It's basically, it's funny. It's usually worn by people who are trying to give off a macho image, but then it's kind of ironic when you see him with that bag. So, and we all know that like they're usually the top, name brand like Louis Vuitton, Gucci type bags. And so, O'Sheen, what do you think about when you see that here in Glendale, especially if people know the LA area, they know about the Americana in Glendale. It's like a big outdoor mall by Rick Caruso. It's like well known. You'll see it all over the place over there. Walking down in that area with their man bags or man purses and their so-called European style clothing. So what do you?
Kind of place, to be honest. Like, it's awkward. I don't think there's anywhere else you'll walk in and you'll see that. It's like the crowd in Glendale. They tend to do weird things like that. Like, where do you walk into in San Diego? Like, we've been to like a bunch of places down there, right? Like, even like the shopping areas so that are kind of like that, like Fashion Valley or something. You never see like there are all these people that are fobs rather like with like a with man purses, dude. Like, I just don't understand that. Like, who thought that like that's good fashion? So those are my honest thoughts. I think it's incredibly tacky, incredibly dumb, and whoever wears it looks like a complete fool.
And usually it's worn
Now,
by fobs, right?
but
Usually it's worn by what you would call a fob, a fresh off the boat guy.
yeah, it's just awkward. Like, it's sad. Like, somebody just doesn't have any sense of. They literally think that that's like a fashionable, good fashion. It's really dumb. It sticks out in all the wrong ways. And then with that, like, I mean, there's a reason they might be wearing that, right? What was it you said one time?
Oh, okay. So there's this funny opinion where people will say, I've actually heard this. It's like, did you know, like somebody has actually said that, like, do you know that's where they carry their like firearm, right? I'm like, in the bag, and it's like a perfect place to hide it if they want to walk down the street. Um, they want to walk down the street and not have people know that they're carrying one. And also, I've even heard that there's a bunch of cash in there, like a big wad of cash in there. But those are kind of rumor-ish type things. I'm sure it happens, but that's one of the things I've heard is that that's where they carry their firearm. But
Yeah, because
um,
what would be the reason? I mean, think about what you carry on you, like normally. For me, it's my wallet, it's my keys, right? And my cell phone, those three, right? If I have something else, what is it typically? It's like, okay, it's like a laptop or whatever, or if it's a jacket, I may put that in a backpack if I'm, going out, out of the city or anywhere, or like, or maybe like a laptop bag, right? It's
yeah,
kind of like a satchel, but it's larger and it's very normal. Like, you see a lot of people wearing laptop bags around their arm. It's like considered common. But like those little like Percy type things, that's just weird. Like, what possibly could you have a need for to carry one of those small ones as opposed to like a laptop bag or a backpack or even like who carries a camera anymore? Like, do you even see anybody with like a camera bag unless they're like kind of a semi-professional photographer? So it may be because of what you're saying.
Oh yeah, yeah, and the funniest part about it is that it's like it's usually, as I said, it's worn by people who try to give off a masculine image. Like they, for example, they'll have like a big old beard, and
Yeah, it's weird.
it's funny. Maybe chapstick to make sure they're they got moist lips or something. I don't know, but
I don't know. It's supposed to be fancy, but it's not. It's absolutely the complete opposite of that. They look like fools when they wear that. It's just ridiculous.
I mean, unless you're riding unless you're riding a Vespa through Europe, then that whole European act, it doesn't work.
Absolutely. Like the Vespa, I'm like, bro, like somebody like riding a Vespa in like LA would look weird too, you know? Like it's just out of place. Like in the US, like it's a whole other kind of like car culture and fashion and everything different. Um, yeah, it's just weird because there's no other like what would they carry like a pair of binoculars or something? Do you think they'd be like doing bird watching or something like a hobby like that or?
Well, yeah, yeah, they're just being worldly and cultured. That's what the reason is.
Wow. Okay.
While being super manly.
Interesting. I'll keep an eye on next time I'm at the Met or back in LA at LACMA. You know, maybe I'll see a bunch of fobs, acting culturally with one of those man bags. What are the chances you think of that? You think I'll run into a bunch of fobs?
And you know what the funny thing is? I've actually seen it where now, or for a while now, it's no longer. I actually see now literally purses. Like it's about this big, and they're carrying it in their hand on the side. Like I've seen it where they're carrying it like actually a purse in their hand.
Wow. Yeah, I don't even know how somebody would think that's a good idea. You know, to me, it's like it's even easy to misplace something like that. At least if it's in a backpack. Backpack's pretty large. Like you'll know if your backpack isn't on you, right? Like my backpack weighs at least 5 to 10 pounds. It's pretty heavy. I know when my backpack isn't with me. But with one of those small ones, imagine like you're acting all cultured. You know, you're getting your coffee. Well, what's the coffee bean and tea leaf, right? Where a lot of them are chilling, right? And then like you accidentally just leave it on like the bar there, right? Like one of the tables. It's so easy to lose that money or whatever, firearm or whatever, and leave it there. You know, with a backpack, like how are you? It's a lot more difficult because it's so big and it's so heavy. You'll know immediately if it's missing.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing about it is that they they you can just like you can put that stuff in your pocket. Like, what do you have? You have a cell phone and you
Yeah,
have maybe some keys. Like, what else do you have to carry?
yeah. You shouldn't be carrying that kind of cash around with you. You know, like it's just not a good idea. You know, put it in a safe. If you don't trust the bank. I don't know. Like, why would you? Why would you bury a fireproof safe? Like, you know, why would you carry that on you? It's a lot more dangerous. So
Yeah, I think more than anything, it's all about like, again, it's looking cultured and European, but it's just a status thing. It's
but the
like
thing
they
is,
have.
like, didn't somebody tell them like this is not Europe? You know, like by acting cultural European, you're in the wrong country. It looks weird. Like imagine, I'm sure if you go to like Europe, like one of the European countries, and you're wearing like Dodgers gear all over and jerseys, it'll probably look weird too. Like first of all, nobody likes baseball really in those countries. It's not a popular sport. Number two, like you're wearing like Dodger jerseys, kind of like gangster style. Like you're automatically like considered like threatening. And then
Mhm.
like you're not wearing soccer stuff, which is like so that's the thing. Like it's just out of place. Like they don't understand. Like they're like you said, it's kind of like maybe a form of disrespect. I don't know, but like even inadvertent, where it's just like get with the program. You know, like people don't dress with man purses when they walk around.
Oh, you know what? Actually, the funny part is like it's like in one sense they want to look all manly, but then at the same time they're like thinking like, okay, does this bag match my shoes? Like,
And there again, I think it's a good idea to have a fashion consultant. Kind of like it's part of the naturalization process. Like when you check in with immigration, you have to like they go through the fashion tips, like don't wear man purses, like knock off Balenciaga or something. But can you imagine like one of those companies, even back to that topic, like imagine you're Balenciaga or something, you see these bobs like wearing knockoff. Wouldn't you be upset? Like this is affecting your brand.
Yeah, that's one of the things that that I've heard. Like there was this whole thing back in the day where like people that were those companies like those fancy champagne companies were trying to distance themselves from like the everyday person
Oh,
drinking
yeah.
them because like I don't know if I'm right on this, but certain brands of like champagne were trying to distance
Right,
them,
right.
being like, hey, this is for like the so-called, the finer gentleman or whatever.
Yeah,
But now I feel like that's happening with these top like these fashion brands like Gucci and Louis Vuitton and
yeah.
Fendi and Prada and all that. It's like
Stop,
it
stop.
started off with high fashion, but then they want. I'm sure that they're glad they're selling, and so they're making money. At the same time, their image is kind of
Are they
their
even
image of it
real?
is
Like those bags they're wearing, are they even real though? That's the thing.
yeah. I mean, a lot of them are probably
Yeah, man.
knockoffs.
So like the garment district in LA, right? And like you'll see every single brand we talked about all fake. Even watches like fake Rolexes. Here in New York, it's called Canal Street. Like you go on Canal, you can find any brand you want, and it's all fake. And every once in a while, there'll be like a raid. And I think a few months back, I was walking by, they trampled a bunch of tourists by accident. They're trying to run away, and when they got raided, like for the brand.
Uh, yeah, there's so many fake, brand, fake ones out. But again, it's all about, and it's not just about. I mentioned it's about trying to look cultured and worldly and all that, but and European. But it's also they're just trying to literally just straight out show off that they can
Yeah,
afford that kind of,
man.
you
So
know.
you compare like a Lululemon brand just for like those Manpurse. Strike while iron's hot, like set yourself
Yeah.
apart as like the brand is Bob Van Purses, But instead of models, you get like the Bob, the fat hot belly, Robbie's guys. So like
Uh-huh.
you gotta reach your audience, right, with your advertising that's relevant. So
Yeah, yeah. I, the thing about the man, the man purse or whatever, it's like it's just another item to have. It's like they have they have the clothing, they have the shoes,
that's
they want to have as many. They want to have the glasses now, even if they're not they don't they can see 2020. They get fake glasses just so it says like Gucci or something on the sides.
man.
And then now the purse is like another accessory to just show off. Oh, I got money, but it's also to possibly carry some stuff, possibly illegal things in there. So
Well, I think we covered this topic pretty in depth, so it was a great discussion on that. We'll revisit this as we see more and more Bobs walking around with the man purses. So we're not going to be done yet. At some point, we'll revisit this topic. But for now, what we're going to do is we're gonna come back and we're going to discuss our final topic for the day, and this one is going to be about cars. So I'm sorry, no, not cars. It's going to be about cigarettes, right? And we have a very fascinating story coming your way. I was getting ahead of myself. We're talking about cigarettes and some of the popular brands for our good friend, the Bob crowd in Glendale. So we'll be back. So hang in there.